Today we're going back to Reddit for another reaction video, but not to the Our Maladaptive Dreaming subreddit. This time we're going to a completely different subreddit that I'm not sure I want to say the name of because I don't know if it's toxic or not. I haven't been there yet. But why we're going there is somebody sent me a thing unrelated to Maladaptive Daydreaming. It was on this subreddit. And I thought to myself, I wonder if there are posts about maladaptive daydreaming there. Because we're not a very well-known thing. So anyway, according to this subreddit's description, they are for posting videos and pictures of people who are obviously faking mental disorders. What they consider obvious, I'm not sure. But one of their rules is do not spread misinformation. You need to be certain that it's fake. So I guess we'll see what that means. Rule 7 also says to provide sufficient evidence. So I guess we will see what sufficient evidence is. If maladaptive daydreaming even comes up on here, I don't know what we're gonna find. So I don't know what kind of video this is gonna be. I don't know if I should warn you or not. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see together. All right, so we're just gonna type in daydreaming. 6 posts. The oldest one looks like it's from a year ago. So they were talking about MD just a year ago. Let's see if we can figure out what it is. Because these aren't like memes. They're not as obvious straight off. At least not to me. Oh shit, it's got sound. Hang on.
Just found out that maladaptive daydreaming is a disorder. Just found out that not everyone has imaginary worlds they make up in their head that are sometimes like an actual like book or movie world, but like sometimes you just invent them yourself and you place yourself as a character in them and you just daydream about it for like hours at a time, and you make Spotify playlists that are like soundtracks to those worlds, and you pop in your earbuds and you just like lay down and you're like, okay, here we go. Just found out that that's not normal. Just found out that I have another mental disorder.
Okay. I don't know. It's just someone doing a silly rant on TikTok. I don't know what's obviously fake about it. Don't they have to provide proof? Let's see if we can find any. All right, so there's only a few comments. It seems like the first one is just sort of taking issue with tone. It comes off as too, I'm quirky and braggy, I guess is the word they use, bragging. Maybe. Ah, yes, daydreaming or being creative is a disorder. I knew I'd see one of these. To be fair, the first reply to them is that maladaptive daydreaming is an actual thing. But they counter with that she isn't actually talking about maladaptive daydreaming, which, yes, I agree with. There is nothing that she said about the symptoms she's experiencing that are exclusive to maladaptive daydreaming. A non-disordered immersive daydreamer might do something like that as well. People who enjoy fantasy, they just do that. It's everything that she said in the context of maladaptive daydreaming is things that maladaptive daydreamers do. Common things that we do. But if you just take those alone, they don't indicate maladaptive daydreaming alone. So kind of halfway agree with that one. All right, and then we have some behavioral science student. Let's see what they say. As someone currently studying behavioral science, one of my classes is discussing and reading about adaptive maladaptive disorders, including daydreaming. That's interesting. This person who claims to be a student also says that they're talking about maladaptive daydreaming in class. Pretty cool. A year ago. I can say 100% what she is describing is absolutely not maladaptive daydreaming. If anything, it's just regular fantasy daydreaming. Okay, so I think they're taking the same issue with this post in that the symptoms she's describing, while they are things that happen to maladaptive daydreamers, aren't overt symptoms of maladaptive daydreaming. They're not specific to maladaptive daydreaming. I don't actually think any of the things that she said, I mean, I wouldn't even call them symptoms. They're common behaviors that we do. They're common things that we do, but none of them are actually in the symptom domain of maladaptive daydreaming. You know, making a Spotify list didn't make it to the diagnostic criteria. That said, there is maladaptive daydreaming. It's relatively new. Behavioral analysis is a relatively new field, blah, blah, blah. And maladaptive daydreaming has only been discovered in the last 2 to 3 years. Okay, so I think the student may not know as much about MD as they think they know if they believe that it was discovered 2 to 3 years ago. This post was made 1 year ago, so 4 years ago. Coined in 2002, it was picked up in 2009 and again in 2011 in new papers. And ever since then, research on it has been growing and growing. So quite a bit more than 4 years ago. This girl's trying to make it sound like zoning into a fantasy world isn't a typical thing when it absolutely is. Agreed. I don't know if I would say it's a typical thing. It is a normal, healthy thing that lots of people do. I don't know if by lots we can say completely typical, though. It is a little, even immersive daydreamers will feel sometimes that like they're kind of the only ones who daydream the way that they do. Like you don't meet other people who do it. You get this sense that it's very strange, which is isolating even for someone who isn't a maladaptive daydreamer. So I halfway agree with them that it's normal and healthy. I don't know if it's typical. What makes maladaptive daydreaming atypical is when it causes severe disturbances in sleep and everyday activity and becoming so disruptive that it prevents people from actually living a normal life. Don't know why they threw sleep in there. That is something it can affect, but that's not in the symptom domain either. So maybe they're going from, this might be giving them too much credit, but the only thing I can think where they're getting that 2 to 3 years, which would be 3 to 4 now, is that they might be getting it from the paper in which the diagnostic criteria was published. And maybe that's why they're calling it diagnosable as well, because maladaptive daydreaming isn't officially diagnosable. That's got to be where they got that number. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I don't think we should go over we're not going to go over, they have a long conversation about it, and we're just not going to go over like every comment. Oh my God, the imagination is a disorder. So they think she's faking because they don't believe that a disorder like maladaptive daydreaming could exist. Lame. And then someone just comments on her appearance, which we are skipping. That's bullshit and you suck. This girl is joking. I followed her for a while and she's funny as hell. Joking about having maladaptive daydreaming? Well, then I would say she absolutely does belong on this subreddit. I do not know if this is true, by the way. I don't know if this person actually follows her or if this TikTok was a joke. But if she's joking about having maladaptive daydreaming, she's obviously saying the words that she's saying in an entertaining, joking way. So maybe that's what he means, that she's like the first people had an issue with her tone, with the quirkiness, but maybe the quirkiness is the joke, not the maladaptive daydreaming. So I can see, hopefully it's that. Hopefully she's not joking about maladaptive daydreaming. She's just a funny person who is talking about it in a funny way. Like, that's fine. I don't know. Like, God, this guy should have gave us more context because I'm not looking her up. Oh. Bro, did Token know that he had a mental disorder when he created Middle Earth? It's called PTSD. Sometimes I really love Reddit. Just because you have a paracosm does not mean you have MD. No reason to suspect Tolkien had MD. I have a mental disorder. It's called my imagination. Another one who thinks... Like, why aren't these reported? They're 1 year ago at this point, but these aren't proof that the person is faking. That's just not believing that someone can have a disorder because you personally think it's kind of dumb. I remember when restless leg syndrome started to be known. I remember commercials about it on TV and everybody around me going, just get up and walk. What the hell is this? Like, ADHD still gets that. Like, they just need more discipline. Teachers don't want to deal with rowdy kids. Just because you don't think it's a thing doesn't mean it's not a thing. Like, these, I don't know. I would say these kind of comments shouldn't be allowed on a sub like this. But to be fair, I don't know shit about a sub like this. Like I said, I might have taken you to a toxic place, and I'm sorry. Apparently, thinking about things that don't exist is a mental disorder. I guess every writer that writes fiction is mentally ill. No. Also, she sounds so happy to have another mental disorder. It's like she's collecting them like Pokemon. I think that's just because she's an entertainer. The tone. No, not every writer. Like, what is that? Every musician who writes a sad song must have depression. Like, I don't know. I don't get the thread there. I'm a writer who does this, and I'm 90% sure that it's not a mental disorder. Because it's probably not a mental disorder for you. Other people are different. Just another comment about her appearance. Wow. The sub sucks. People are mean. Reminds me of some guy on Reddit who diagnosed himself with several mental illnesses after posting pictures of his crush online without her consent. Why does this remind you of that? Oh, why would she remind you of that? It was the next sentence, dimmer. Why this reminds me of him is because he made up a completely new mental illness to diagnose himself with, as the already existing ones weren't enough. Idiot called it the overthinking disorder, like no one else ever overthinks anyone. She didn't make up the words maladaptive daydreaming. I don't know how old she is, but she looks fairly young. She might not have been born when maladaptive daydreaming was coined. So, your comment's dumb. Another on her appearance. Is she not explaining imagination? No, she's not. I mean, she kind of is. Like I said, she doesn't say anything that is specific to maladaptive daydreaming. She gives it the context of maladaptive daydreaming, so all us maladaptive daydreamers are going to sit here and go, yep, I do that. Yeah. But other people who aren't maladaptive daydreamers, people who are just immersive daydreamers or who are normative daydreamers, they're also going to be able to sit here and go, I do that too. Except their reaction is going to be, it's not a fucking disorder. Because she didn't say anything specific to MD. Oh! An MDer chimes in. I'm actually pretty sure I have maladaptive daydreaming. But the difference is that it actually does hinder my life a lot. Gonna stop you right there, sweetie. She never said it didn't hinder her life. We don't need to assume that about her. She didn't say anything like that. I can often spend hours, blah, 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 blah. However, I'm pretty sure this girl is joking, seeing as her TikToks are usually quite funny. Okay, so another person who knows her as a creator. But again, I'm left wondering, like, is she just saying it in a joking way? Or is she actually joking about having MD? Oh, or maybe she's doing an impression of someone discovering MD. That would be a joke that would also be funny, but wouldn't be dickish. Maybe I should actually look up the creator. Nah. This is Reddit. We don't look at sources. That's not a disorder. It's called your imagination. Thinking is a disorder. Nobody thinks what I think. Holy shit, I had no idea an imagination was a disorder. I'm pretty sure maladaptive daydreaming can't be controlled, so it can seriously affect school and life. Like, bro, I do what she does all the time, but I can control it. I obviously don't have a disorder. She needs to tell us if she can control it or not. Like, maybe you just got an imagination. I think this is probably, the user is deleted, but I think this is probably the most well-balanced one. So, good for you, deleted user. Bruh, I don't know a person who doesn't do that. Really? Because I spent years trying to find anybody who daydreamed like me. And I found one really weird guy on the internet in like 2006. But he had no idea what I was talking about. Turned out he just had a paracosm. So I'd like to know where you live. Because there must be something in the water there. If you are literally surrounded by immersive daydreamers. That's wild. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is more common among certain populations. Maybe this person literally does not know anyone who doesn't do it. But that seems like a stretch. I think this user just doesn't doesn't understand the difference between daydreaming and immersive daydreaming. Wait, what? Is that actually a disorder, or it is an actual disorder? The girl is just trivializing it. Somebody else saying it's satire? All right, we have another maladaptive daydreamer. Okay, as someone who's self-diagnosed with maladaptive daydreaming, because it's actually ruining my life, it's not cute or quirky. It's not occasionally making up fantasies in your head. It's hours of doing nothing but staring at a wall, lost in blah, blah, blah. No, okay, I'm gonna stop them right there. Dimmer, you don't have to stop them. You're the one reading. Shut up. Shut up. You can't tell other people what it is. You can't tell other people how they experience it. Just because her experience might be different than yours doesn't mean that she doesn't have maladaptive daydreaming. We don't know if it negatively affects her life. She didn't mention that. That would have been a great thing to mention, since the TikTok was about maladaptive daydreaming. It would have been good, to get the thing about it that makes it maladaptive out there. But she didn't, and that's unfortunate. But she also didn't sit there and say, but it doesn't affect my life at all. In which case, I would be more apt to say, like, okay, then it's probably not MD. Like, it has to affect your life somehow. So let's just skip over that part, because you telling other people how to experience MD based off the way you experience it doesn't have anything to do with this. And that was actually their entire post, so I guess we're just not reading their post. As someone who struggles with MD, it's much less an activity, more like an addiction. And then they talk about their personal experience, and that's what sets it apart. Okay, yep. That's what sets it apart. That does nothing to prove or disprove if this chick is faking. And then she's actually making fun of such stuff. I looked through her account a bit, and she usually does satire. Okay, so without looking at her personal page, because I don't feel like it, we got a lot of people here saying it's satire, and she's making fun of people discovering maladaptive daydreaming and relating to the criteria. But anyway, she's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, we're not here to pass a judgment on OP. We're here to pass judgments on the comments, because that's all I try to do. I try to look at these things in my reaction videos and just see if there's anywhere that I can sort of nitpick something more factual or correct some sort of misconception. So the reason that this was posted here would be because people think she's obviously faking the disorder. First of all, they're wrong, because apparently she is a comedian or a satire channel. TikTok. What are TikTok channels called? Anyway, she apparently did not make it in order to say that she actually has maladaptive daydreaming, I guess. So OP was wrong to post it anyway. She's not faking anything. She is creating satire of something, which is... And then for the commenters, most of the things that people took issue with were, one, they did not believe imagination could be disordered. I don't know. Maybe they just should have done a quick Google search before posting. You're just showing off that you know less about the content of this thread than the faker OP did. But she's not a faker because it was satire. Just what you believe doesn't change what is. And sure, yeah, no, I know we're not an official disorder. Like, I can't be saying that. But people are struggling with this phenomena, this mental phenomena, which affect their lives, which causes them distress and dysfunction, which is being actively researched as a disorder, as a behavioral addiction. Whether or not it has its official wings, whether or not it ever gets its official things, it is real, whether or not you think that's lame. Go spank a kid with ADHD. Like, that's who you are. Your boomer great Uncle Bill telling your niece, your boy doesn't need ADHD meds, he just needs a spanking. Like, that's who you are in this case. And then the other people just took issue with her tone, which I think is a silly thing to take issue with, even if it was not satire, because she's obviously a TikToker. She's making these TikToks to be entertaining. So her tone would be what is entertaining to her audience. Even if she was a real maladaptive daydreamer making this, I mean, it's silly. She wasn't being too horrible, which is maybe why I didn't ping it as satire immediately. Thought she was just trying to be funny. Or what's the word? Like a little bit of sarcasm. Sarcasm, not quite the right word, but I think you know what I mean. I don't know. But I've been sitting here for a while now. Oh. Whatever this was deleted. Okay, let's see. It's another TikTok. Why are there so many TikToks? Third one wasn't about maladaptive daydreaming either. Why did these come up in the search then? Another TikTok. Wow, everyone hates TikTok. Okay, oh, no, stop, pause. Oh. They go too fast. They go too fast, and I'm old. That one's not about maladaptive daydreaming either. Okay. And that was the last comment, really. I mean, well, the last one worth reading anyway. I can't say anything to the comments that don't mention MD. Yeah, I don't know. I guess good job, fam. I don't know what this video is. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's a weird subreddit, and I'm glad we're not on it a lot. I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.